Good morning, I'm back. I know it's been a really long time since I've posted, but I'm here now. I got really overwhelmed with work and coronavirus and Hayden and life just got really stressful. School has also been super hectic because I'm transferring yet again. And this school has a lot more steps to enroll than my last college did, which is fine. It's just trying to figure all that out in the midst of working all the time, always having Hayden. It's just very frustrating. I was still pregnant when I had to enroll in my last college, so I didn't have an actual child to watch. He was still in my stomach. It was a lot easier. I work until 1, and then I have 3 hours max to do what I need to do for the day. Hayden's at daycare right now. I have to go do fingerprinting and stuff for a background check, I guess. So yeah, that's what we're getting ready to do. So while I'm getting ready, I'm gonna kind of run through my experience with postpartum. Postpartum is the first 6 weeks after you give birth. It can be longer, it can be shorter. So after you give birth, it's a very weird stage to be in, your body is completely different. You feel completely different because all the hormones that were once, keeping you going, they're now gone. As soon as that child leaves your body, the hormones are gone too, which is what causes things like postpartum depression and anxiety and things like that in new mothers. And I would just like to say, first and foremost, if you are a new mother and you are struggling and you don't know whether or not you have postpartum depression or what's going on, how you're feeling, if anything is happening that you're unsure of, call your doctor. Tell them exactly how you're feeling because you have a child now that depends on you. And no doctor is ever going to ridicule you for getting help. If they are any kind of decent doctor, they are going to help you. You'd much rather be safe than sorry. And if you do have postpartum depression, it's not your fault. It is nobody's fault. So let's get into it. My experience with postpartum and maybe some tips and tricks along the way that can potentially help you. The day that I had Hayden, it was amazing. I felt amazing. Everything was going great because I had all these people congratulating me, and I felt so acknowledged after putting in all that work to carry him to term. And yeah, I wasn't feeling too good. I was in pain, but at least I was I have my baby. I've finally met him, and life is good. And the first night in the hospital, I ended up staying 2 nights in the hospital. The first night in the hospital was okay because I had my mom, she was there. The baby woke up, she'd be like, you get your sleep, you just delivered a child, and I will get him back to sleep because it was no big deal. You just had to feed him and he would fall back asleep on his own. So the next day felt drastically different. I was still getting praise and appreciation from the nurses because they were amazing nurses. Most of what I was feeling, I think, was the immediate hormone drop in my body because I wasn't sad. I wouldn't say that I was sad, but I was definitely confused. I was lost. And if I'm being completely honest, I didn't have the hardest mental recovery from having a baby. I know a lot of women have it a lot worse, but I remember that second day was just very weird for me internally because I was okay, nobody cares anymore. Now you have to do this. This is on you. And once again, my biggest tip, if you are feeling any type of way about having a child, if you are feeling any thoughts that you shouldn't be feeling about being a mom, go to a doctor. Get help before it gets out of hand. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a lost person. It doesn't make you a bad mother. It just means that your body is reacting differently, and that's fine. I'm gonna do my brows. I can't talk and do my brows at the same time, so I will be right back. They're a little thick. Don't care. Let's get into the physical aspect of postpartum. I just don't see enough talk regarding the physical state of the female body after it's literally delivered a child. So we're gonna talk about it here. So when you were in the hospital, depending on what you opted to do, you probably got a lot of pain medication, like an epidural. You couldn't really feel what was going on. And I'm not gonna lie, that's what I chose to do because I didn't really want to feel childbirth. It wasn't in my plans in life to feel the natural pain of childbirth. But the second that you're not delivering that baby anymore, you don't get any more pain medication They tell you to take ibuprofen or Tylenol, whatever your over-the-counter drug of choice is, they tell you to take that. The way that people talked about it, or more specifically didn't talk about it, kind of made me think that, like, hey, like, maybe postpartum isn't that bad. Like, I have the baby, maybe, like, I'll give birth, I'll have the baby, and then, like, life will be normal. Like, I'll be back to normal. No. While you're in the hospital, at least where I was, you, as, like, a just freshly postpartum woman, you weren't supposed to leave your bed. Like, you weren't supposed to walk unless, you know, you had to get your baby or you had to go to the bathroom. Like, you weren't really supposed to get up and move. And if you have a child, you know why. I'm not going to go too far into detail because I know a lot of people are squeamish. They don't really want to know the details of childbirth and what exactly it entails. But basically, things tear. And whether you tear on the outside or the inside doesn't make it any more or less painful because everything hurts all at once. And you feel like everything's gonna fall out, and it's not fun. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. For the first, like, 2 weeks, I was terrified to go number 2. It quite literally felt like everything was gonna fall out. Like, it felt like I was constipated, but, like, I also knew that it was my mind playing tricks on me because I wasn't actually constipated. It was just my body being terrified to do it. And walking, I couldn't really walk straight for the first 2 weeks after. Like, I literally had to crutch anything and everything nearby for dear life because I was terrified. And nobody ever really warned me about that. And peeing, I don't know if any of you girlies out there have ever had a UTI. It feels like that times like 10 on the pain scale, and it literally mine lasted for 3 weeks. It's like that every time to pee, and you can't wipe because everything is, a mess down there. So you can't wipe, you're in pain, you can't pee. Like, good is subjective, I know, but I don't know a single woman who's ever had a good postpartum experience because it's just pain. All you know for like 6 weeks is pain. Anyways, on top of all that pain, you're also taking care of a baby, like not a toddler, not an infant, you're taking care of a newborn. So not only now are you handling your emotions and the physical state of your body, you also have like a crying newborn to take care of. And I'll tell you right now that newborns are not easy. They cry for everything. They don't know how to act. They're quite literally brand new to this world and they're terrified. They don't know anything. So they cry. That's how they express their emotions. They cry, they yell, they scream, and it's very frustrating. And I'll tell you guys right now, I got frustrated on more than one occasion, like more than several occasions. I yelled. I didn't yell at Hayden. I just yelled to the world because I was so frustrated and I was so scared and I was in a lot of pain and I was overwhelmed. And I've talked to plenty of other moms and they've all expressed that same feeling of hopelessness and feeling overwhelmed at your first newborn because it's a lot. It is an overwhelming amount of responsibility to have this living being, this living human being be dependent on you. So now that I've kind of gone on about the negatives to being a brand new mom and kind of that postpartum stage, let's talk about some tips and maybe some pros because we like to be positive here. My first tip is before you even deliver your baby, schedule a mental health check with your psychiatrist or your primary care provider. Tell them that you don't want to be caught off guard with postpartum, and I promise you they're going to understand. Try to schedule it like 3-4 weeks after your due date. That way you can go in after you've had the baby and kind of give them an update. Do not give in to the stigma that says that you're weak, that you're a bad mom for even thinking about that, because I promise you your mental health is very important, especially during postpartum. So my second tip is basically right after you give birth and you're still in the hospital, they're gonna give you a lot of stuff and you're gonna want to use it because they're giving it to you for a reason. I got a variety of creams that were both for like breastfeeding and they were also for down there, for healing. They're also gonna give you a squirt bottle. And believe it or not, that squirt bottle is gonna be your best friend considering that you can't wipe anymore. Because I promise you, they're not just giving you stuff to give you stuff. Okay, tip number 3, take it easy. Your body is begging you to take it easy. I definitely did not take it easy. I was in bed, holding my son. I was looking up ways to lose baby fat 3 days postpartum. I know a lot of women have body image issues, and I sure did. I was a 19-year-old who was an athlete in high school. I had a really great body, I had a really great stomach, And now it was replaced with like huge thighs and a giant pooch where my stomach once was. Until your doctor says that you can go work out and do stuff, take it easy. Like childbirth, I feel like it's really normalized to downplay it, but it is a trauma and you deserve to relax after you do that. You don't have to be skinny. All right, next, I probably have to say, accept help where you can get it, especially young single moms. You don't have to do it on your own. If someone is willing to help you and they're willing to let you rest for even a little bit just to help you, take that help. 19-year-old me was too proud because I was like, no, I'm a teen mom. Like, I need to be able to do this on my own. Trust me, you deserve it. You deserve that help. My final tip is to just love yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror, and instead of seeing stretch marks and loose skin and all this stuff that I know you want to focus on, look at yourself and say, I'm proud of you. And I'm getting emotional right now thinking about it. Because when I first had my son, I was very hypercritical of myself. And I looked at my body and I was like, look at these stretch marks. Like, what did you do? Why did you get pregnant? You should really just take a step back and look at yourself and say, I did this. I made it. I survived childbirth, which is something that a lot of women don't. You did it. You had a baby. You literally brought a new life into this world. And that's crazy. And I think that instead of focusing on the things that society tells us is bad, you should look at yourself and just say, I am proud of you. Because I guarantee if anyone deserves to be told that someone is proud of them, it's you. So I want to end this video just by reminding you guys that postpartum comes to an end. It really does. Being a new mom is tough, but after a couple months, which seems like a long time, promise it's not, it flies, it gets easier and, you know, it becomes more fun and you start to teach them things and they start to learn, and then all of a sudden, like, you look down and you're like, I'm doing this. Like, be proud of yourself. That's all I have to say. I'm going to end this by saying it gets better. You should be proud of yourself. You're doing it and you're killing it and you're doing amazing. But if you guys have any questions that you want me to answer about postpartum, just comment them below. I'll try to respond to all comments. Well, I am going to try to upload weekly. I don't know what day of the week, and I don't know if I'm even going to be able to stick to that because, once again, guys, I do have a son. I do have a full-time job. Social media is not my job. I still have to work for income because I don't make money off of social media, which is fine. But please be patient. I will upload whenever I can, obviously. I'm not just going to ghost you guys for no reason. Thank you guys for watching again. I love you all.